Okay, we're working with the exercises of the study guide. In this case, we're going to solve exercises of operations with complex numbers. The first exercise will be this one, 3x plus 2i times negative 4 plus 7i. Basically, what we're going to have to do in here is use distributive property. We're going to use distributive property a lot, so it would be better if you're already used to it. If not, well, a little bit of practice is not going to do anything wrong. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply number 3 with minus 4 and with 7i. So 3 times minus 4 would be negative 12. Then 3 times 7i would be positive 21i. Once I've done multiplying with 3, I'm going to start multiplying with 2i. So 2i times negative 4 would be negative 8i. And 2i times 7i would be positive 14i squared, because I times I is going to be I squared. Once we've done that, we're going to simplify like terms. These two things you see in here, they're basically like terms because they both have I. So I'm going to subtract them. 21 minus 8 will be 13, and I copy the letter I. Now, I squared, for us who study already complex numbers, we need to remember that I squared is the same thing as negative 1. So instead of I squared, I'm going to put inside parentheses negative 1. That way I can multiply it with 14. So I'm going to do it, and what's going to happen is that 14 is going to change from positive to negative. Once I have multiplied, you can see that minus 12 and minus 14 are like terms, so we can simplify them. And if we perform the operation, you would get negative 26 as the answer in this case. So the solution for this thing will be minus 26 plus 13i. That's the answer for this multiplication. The next exercise is an addition, but if you notice, we have several square roots in here that we could find first. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna begin solving the square roots from the parentheses. Square root of negative 4 is 2i. Square root of 36 is 6. Square root of 25 is 5. And square root of minus 9 is 3i. Now, because I have a number 2 right next to the square root, I'm going to have to put the 3i inside parentheses. That means I'm going to multiply the number 2 outside with the number 3 inside. That's the next thing I'm going to do. Also, this parenthesis in here is not being multiplied. Like if we had a number in, like for example a 6, 7, or whatever, any number in here, we should use distributive property. But because we have no numbers outside that are multiplying, and we cannot perform any addition inside because this is an I and this one is not an I, so we're just gonna erase the parentheses because this parenthesis is basically useless. It's just wasting some space in there. It shouldn't be there. Okay, now in this case I'm gonna multiply 2 times 3i, so negative 2 times 3i will be negative 6i. And once I've done the multiplication, I can use distributive property again with 3, like 3 times 5 and 3 times negative 6i. So I'm going to multiply them. I'm going to get 3 times 5 is going to be 15. And 3 times negative 6i will be negative 18i. And now that I have done these things, you can see that we have like terms, like 2i and negative 18i are basically like terms, and also 6 plus 15. I'm going to work with the integers first, and then I'm going to work with imaginary numbers. So 6 plus 15 is 21, and 2 minus 18 will be negative 16i. Okay, so the answer for this operation would be 21 positive minus 16i. And that will be it.